Welcome to the Nerdmigos podcast. I am Ryan.
I am Michael.
I'm Robert Pattinson.
And I'm Michael Caine.
I have no idea what Robert Pattinson actually sounds like, so I was like...
I do.
It's more.
I'm Robert Pattinson.
Isn't he more like... isn't he British? Isn't he like... I don't actually...
I think he's more of a, hey, governor.
I don't know.
He's not Cockney, is he?
I have no idea.
knows?
I've literally... I don't know anything about the man.
He's a 110-year-old sparkly vampire. He's a Geordie.
Diamond nipple.
Right.
Like, I don't know
You governor.
anything about the man. Like, is he like...
I'm gonna look it up.
I have to like look this up now because I'm
Let us consult the Google.
I'm not sullying my Google with the name of Robert Pattinson, which is probably not even his
English.
real name.
What is he?
He's English.
British.
I was just guessing that.
Born in London.
I was literally just guessing that.
London, close to Newcastle, so technically it could be a Geordie.
Indubitably.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Anyway,
jolly
well,
good.
Wow.
welcome
was
to the Robert Pattinson cast.
What a crap way to start the podcast.
No, it's a great way. So,
Now let's go around.
Really hates Robert.
Yeah. Now let's go around and talk about our favourite Robert Pattinson moment.
Oh, there's so many to choose from.
He did a wonderful piece
diamond-
of shit called something or other.
I just love his diamond nipples. That just does
Diamond
it for me.
nipples.
You heard it here first,
So
folks.
George
areolas.
Clooney
yeah,
had the bat nipples.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when Robert Pattinson plays Batman, he's going to have
He'll be
diamond
bling,
nipples.
man.
Diamond
He'll be
nipples.
bling.
I would
He'll be
take
blinging
the
it up.
Clooney bat nipples over Pattinson any day. And that's saying a lot. The back
That's a very
Mastercard.
decisive remark.
Wow.
There,
I would.
man. There's a lot-
And
a
I
lot
haven't
of
even
people
seen a trailer or the movie
Bat
yet.
nipples are good,
Bat nipples.
but it's all. I mean,
Bat nip.
Was it convenient that the movie we saw the bat nipples in Mr. Freeze was in, so that's why they were so visible?
Yeah, maybe.
I would expect.
Ooh,
I would expect
that's
Pattinson's
interesting.
bat nipples would be a lot more pointier. I'm
And
just
sparkly and
Yeah.
glittery and...
Yeah.
Or like maybe we should make a short term for that, a shorthand word like maybe like batnip.
Bat nip, nice.
You know, showing.
Well,
some
they've
bat-
already started to call him Battinson.
Nice.
I don't know which producer at DC cooked up that turd, but seriously,
Robert Pattinson.
Robert
That's his
Pattinson.
name now.
I'm very emotional because
I think we should coin this.
Robert
I think
Pattinson.
It's quite unanimous in our group that we really like that name. Robert
It actually
Pattinson.
works really well.
Oh look, I honestly believe he'll be one of the finest Batman
Oh,
trails.
we are so
Alright.
excited.
We are
All four
losing
of us-
Ryan. We are losing Ryan.
All four of us are just so thrilled that he is the new.
speak
Bruce
for
Wayne.
yourself, sunshine.
but Ryan, you said you had some Batman news you wanted to briefly.
Yes. So there's been a few different sources that have reported today. This news just dropped today that despite what we heard previously in relation to villains that were going to be in Matt Reeves' Batman movie, and because he's talking Arkham Asylum, it could be more, but the main villains are going to be Harvey Dent himself as Two-Face and the Mad Hatter.
Ooh.
So the Mad Hatter, the gentleman by the name of Jervis Tech, he's been featured in the animated series as well as the Batman Arkham games, basically, and the Gotham TV show. He basically has technology which can hypnotise people and get them to do their...
I was about to say, Ryan, like, give us a rundown of who the Mad Hatter
Yeah,
is.
so he's based around he's based around the obviously the Alice in Wonderland reference.
Yep.
His henchmen are all dressed up in like Tweedledee, Tweedledum, all those kind of henchmen. He uses that technology for hypnosis, and he's obsessed with a girl he was stalking named Alice. So it kind of all
perfect. I
ties
love it.
into that.
Good origin of any
He's
good
kind of a
villain.
mid-level villain.
But that sounds like a good villain to start with. You don't want to start with you don't want to go out the door with like a.
we don't want to do the Joker.
Yeah, no,
and
you gotta-
they were
build
talking
up.
Penguin and Catwoman. And
No,
I think
that's
I think
too
it's
big.
smart.
It's too big.
You've
too
got to
soon.
build up. You've got to earn those villains.
You got to remember it's
Yeah.
early Batman, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the same time, what I love about new Tom Holland Spider-Man is they're doing villains that haven't been done
Exactly.
before.
Yeah,
and they're doing
like-
them well.
How many times have we seen the Joker? I mean, I love the
Green
Joker,
Goblin,
but how many times?
Oh,
have we seen the Joker?
and we've got a Joker movie coming out this year as well, with Matt Reeves' Batman coming out summer or mid next year. You don't want to oversaturate the Joker. We've already had several different Jokers in the last 10 years.
You don't want to oversaturate Batman, but here
yeah.
we are.
But I think
And on that
the
note,
Mad Hatter.
you don't want to saturate X-Men either.
We don't want to go off on that tangent. Triggers all around. But I think
Chris
Jamie,
Chris really wants the X-Men like right now.
Yes.
I think you said it correctly. Like we need a low, like Two-Face. He's up there, but he's still considered a mid to high rank.
rank.
So he could be the main, and then you've got Jervis Tech as the Mad Hatter working with Two-Face. So I'm cool with that.
Look, if they do a fourth one, I want them to do King Tut.
Yeah.
Or what about Condiment Man?
Condiment
They
Man.
could team up. King Tut could team up with.
But imagine doing a really good King Tut. Like, imagine making it, like, special. Like, imagine, like...
CGI.
That would actually...
He actually has the body of a sphinx or something.
That would actually be pretty cool.
No, just do it well. Take the
Just
concept.
do it well. Take the same concept, just do it well.
Yeah, so like the pot plant thing, but like actually...
It doesn't have to be a pop plant. The person says...
It has to be a pop
like
plant.
an ancient plant.
Like a dude has
a
like a split personality. Like, take that sort of, like, just take that really, like...
Oh, you're serious?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm saying, let's get it real.
And do we
Get
now
creative
one
with
main
it.
question that's on my mind: do we use CGI or can we still go with the Brillo pad on the chin? Tape to a chin with clear tape on the actual 66.
Maybe
you can actually
not
see the
Brillo
tape where it's ripped out the hairs.
Maybe he can start with that, and then like he gets better.
So, like I said before,
absolutely.
why not bring Poison Ivy in, and she could be the one who makes the plant knock him on the
Yes,
head.
actually, that's a great idea because
And he could be the spirit of Anubis or Contra or something, or an Egyptian
come to
god.
think of it, apart from that really terrible Poison Ivy from like that Batman movie, a good Poison Ivy I think is overdue.
I definitely
I think
agree.
so. Yeah, I think so
definitely
too.
agree.
But
Who would you cast as a good Poison Ivy? Who do you think would do it
it's a
quite
tough
well?
cast because like
That chick who played the Aquaman. Oh, what's her name? Amanda.
no,
Amber Heard?
she doesn't have the range that's required.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think they need to stay away from
she did fine
multicasting.
She did fine as Mira, but I don't think the craziness is not required.
Stewart, I'm
Like
done.
there's a certain level of craziness, but also a certain level of power that's required for Poison Ivy.
Yeah,
so, like,
true.
you know,
Needs to be powerful. Definitely.
Wow.
I would say Emily Blunt, to be honest, would be probably
Yes,
yeah.
actually,
Yes,
Poison
actually,
Ivy.
she would
She's
be great.
good.
Yeah,
She's great.
She has the charisma for it.
And she could do a little bit of the crazy. That's fine. Like, she did Mary Poppins, so
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Why would you do a franchise that's long dead? I mean, that's just crazy.
like we said in the previous cast, we were all hanging on to find out what happened. That cliffhanger at the end of the first Mary Poppins.
Absolutely.
Where she
But
flew away.
the after credits
Yeah,
sequence, I was like,
definitely.
man, when are we ever going to have that conclusion?
Fiddler on the roof was just watching going, my plans are coming to fruition. And then it was done. 20-something years later, we got the answer, and it was shit.
I prefer the Simpsons version where it ends with her getting sucked into an airplane.
So speaking of sucking, there was an event this
Nice segue,
past
Chris.
week
Well
called,
segue.
called E3.
You're breathtaking.
Now,
Birthday.
obviously, look, there were some really good announcements of, cyberpunk, blah, 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 all the good stuff. But let's talk about the one thing that made me really hate the universe.
There was.
Dun, 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 dun,
So
dun,
Michael was excited because he heard that there was going to be an Avengers game.
Yes, I got excited.
And he was
Which is understandable.
super excited.
I was.
And when they
I was
first
like,
showed like the first trailer, like months and months ago, they showed like the Shield, and they showed like the
Yes.
Iron Man Gauntlet, and they showed the Thor's hammer. And everyone was like, "Ooh, yeah!" And then they showed it, and everyone went, "Oh no, oh
Yeah, no, it was actually.
no,
yeah,
stop it!"
Turn it
Stop
off.
showing me this. Turn it off. It's dead already.
I think I saw something. I can't remember if it's one of you guys said it or something. It's like they Square Enix went to Marvel and go, yeah, we want to use the Avengers. Sure, this is this much. Awesome, let's do it. Yeah, we want to use the likenesses of all the movie stars. Yeah, that's this much. No, thank you. Let's get the stunt double.
Like, okay, so like my main, apart from my many issues, but the main one was it was the way that they did Captain America.
Yeah.
Like
the bulletproof vest.
Like he's wearing a bulletproof.
Yeah.
Like that's like that like. That's the costume he would first put on when he first became Captain America without all the money and research and technology. That's basically like, that's a cop's uniform where you put a star on it. And yeah, it's fine, that's good enough. That's,
The Tony Stark imagery looked like it was the guy that you would get to play in an Avengers porno movie, to be honest with you. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Now people have said like, just because I don't look like the movie cast, you're all being picky. No, but they don't look like the comics either.
They don't look like the Avengers.
They don't like. I don't know what they've done.
I saw Captain America and I thought Christopher Maloney, who he's been many years in SVU and in Happy and stuff like that. And then I saw Black Widow and I'm like, that's Robin from How I Met Your Mother. Like I'm seeing like all these things.
It looks terrible.
Yeah. It really does.
The one thing that gets me nervous about these sorts of games, when they go, look, we promise our best features. We're not going to try to take all your money with microtransactions and loot boxes.
But if you want good costumes,
And as soon as the costumes, I was going, they're going to sell us the good costumes, aren't they? I was looking at that going, that's what
If you want the Chris Evans skin for your Avengers character, here's
that's sort of
1995.
that's sort of what was the nail in the coffin for me with that being excited about that game is the microtransactions.
Well, I thought initially, it's not Square Enix, it's EA Games, but
it looks really terrible.
It looks like a mobile game.
Yes, it does.
The CGI cutscene is not worthy of what everyone's been waiting for.
You've seen those crappy ads for those crappy mobile games.
Facebook,
it looked like one of those games. I was looking going, do I tap my phone now to play it? What's going on?
Yeah.
What is going on?
I'm not interested at all. And for me to say an Avengers game,
Before, I don't know how long ago they announced it, but before that they had
they've been
the
waiting
Iron
for a while.
Man VR.
Yes.
And I was like, I think I want to buy VR.
Yeah, just the back of the
Freaking
look.
amazing.
And at the same show, there was another game with the Avengers and Marvel license called Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Yes.
And you watch that and you go, no, there you go, there's my Marvel game.
Exactly.
Thank
That
goodness.
was actually
Because it looks like a proper Marvel game.
It literally makes me want to buy a Nintendo Switch just for that game.
I have one, so
And I've loved the Ultimate Alliance games. I have 1 and 2 on the PlayStation, and they're amazing. They've got good replay value. They've got a good stories behind it.
The one thing that I'll give Square Enix credit for was not for that shitty game that they're launching. That's fine. They also talked to another game that showed gameplay of a classic. Now, when you're touching a classic, you have to be very careful because I'm
powering up as
you must be careful when touching a classic like Final Fantasy VII. For the you could when they first announced that game, I was going, you could only fail that. There's no way, there's no success. But you watched that and went you saw how badly they turned Final Fantasy 15. That was But then you see this game and you're going, okay, go on, tell me.
Go
on.
I showed Mike the trailer for the first time today, and even he was like, "Wow!"
But the very annoying thing, the very EA, we'll call it an EA thing because we'll call it the EA thing. Is basically this is not the full game. This is basically the Midgar. The game is, from my understanding, is this is going to be the Midgar sequence of the game.
So you have to buy the discs.
Yeah, and there'll be tons of different games.
But you know what? Final Fantasy VII. I've still got it on the PlayStation Network. I still play. As I was saying, I've played this, finished it. I reckon since its release on the PS1 at least 50 times. It is
But the one thing I will say, and I will give Square Enix full credit for, which is rare, is there was a lot of pressure initially from stupid people on the internet going, you need to change Tifa's costume and make it more not so sexy. And they went, no, that's what Tifa wears. Here you go, here's Tifa.
Exactly.
I was like going,
respect.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's a classic costume. She wore a different one at Advent Children, but that made sense because that movie was set several years after the thing.
Yeah.
So essentially,
Yeah, and that attitude right there gives me hope for this game because the fact that they are
we're not going to
willing
change anything.
to change her costume for the fans because that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah, it's here is the costume.
That's the best thing.
Screw you. This is what
Yes,
it's like.
that's right. They're just
That's
saying,
what it was in the original. This is
they're
what
saying
it is now.
this is a game that was amazing 15, 20 years ago. All we're doing is just bringing it into this millennium's graphics and engines and stuff. We're keeping the game the same. We're just going to make it even better.
Again, the one thing that everyone talks about, which I will very much like to see, if they're doing the Midgard sequence, how are they going to handle the cloud cross-dressing sequence?
Yes.
This is important. Because in the game, he sneaks into a club dressed as a hooker.
Yeah, you do.
What do you want?
And how he'll do this is, obviously, he'll have some hologram thing that'll pull over himself to make him look like a woman. That's very easy to fix. Okay,
But
just fix it.
half the fun in that was trying to get the different pieces.
Was clearly it was literally just Cloud in a dress.
Playing that machine to get the tiara. And it was literally Cloud in a dress. His hair was just had a little ponytail, and you could just
that's
That's
the
awesome.
best part about. This is one of the funniest things in that entire
Yeah.
game.
I wouldn't put it past them to keep that.
Oh,
in
no
there.
doubt they will keep it.
But I mean, you have that really funny moment, and then you switch across into the Niflheim sequence where basically Nibelheim, sorry, where like Sephiroth runs into the sword, and he just grabs it and picks him up, holding the sword in his hand, and he's bleeding to death. And then you're going, there you go. You got like stupid and this amazing sequence.
That's what made it so. And I'm hoping they keep the chocobo racing in there as well.
Yes,
from the scene
the
where you have to.
chocobo. I love
You have to.
No, if I don't get to breed chocobos,
Oh, you will. Because you have to breed those ones to get the sweat material.
there will be
Hell to pay?
hell to pay. And I do want them to think about something. They put the seeds in the early game, and then eventually, where they basically had all the pieces in the game to do so you could make a Sephiroth clone. And have like Sephiroth as a party member, but they never got around to they never finished it because there was 99 small soldiers. You can get Sephiroth's sword, you get all these different things that would sort of indicate that they were planning to do that, but they never got around to doing it. I'm going, would you want to add Sephiroth? And also there's also the Aerith revival scene that they sort of cut.
Yeah.
But given how this is the same game and Advent Children exists where she's clearly dead, I don't think they'll add Aerith back in because that death was like one of the most important.
Heart-wrenching.
That was the most important.
That was the end of.
the end of this
remember
one.
that. Yeah.
And what was crazy was like they played the sad music and the battle started, and then just kept the music going, and it was still sad, and they're going, I don't want to fight this battle. What the hell's going on?
Exactly. And that was one of the. I remember playing that, and that scene. No matter how many times I played it, still gets you like.
Because to me, Sephiroth was like one of the ultimate villains ever that has ever existed.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
he's iconic in everything.
Everyone who
everything
knows
about
it,
him.
even if you don't know the Final Fantasy, you know the big ass guy with the long white hair and the massive main sword.
Massive sword, and essentially he's going, I'm going to destroy the world. Why? Because, why not?
I want to.
Because, this world is pathetic, so I'm going to destroy it. I'm going to be all good. That's all you need to know about the man. He's and that's...
And yes, there is the backstory as you go through the game, but it still never takes away from the fact that he doesn't care.
Yeah, exactly.
To watch the world burn.
And then
Yeah.
again, this is a Final Fantasy 7 cast, but I don't mind. But the cool thing I really liked about
We're talking games anyway.
the fact that I liked about that game was like the Cloud moment where he basically broke.
Yep.
Because as that story goes along, it wasn't him. He was not.
Spoilers for a 20-year-old game.
Yeah, he was not the soldier in his vision.
It was Zack.
Yeah, and he was there.
Yeah.
But
he was the offsider.
But then the crazy thing, and the more you think about it, Tifa knew that. Tifa knew he was lying, but she didn't say anything because obviously she was like, but
she wanted him to find out on his own.
because she was again. Spoilers. She was also there.
Yeah, exactly. Because that was her hometown.
That was her hometown, and she was there. She would remember that. She remembered. People argued back and forth like, maybe she sort of like just remembered the soldier coming to town. Maybe she remembered.
Yeah, exactly.
But
then the moment that scene when they were both young and kids, and she's like, "Promise me you'll come back," and all that kind of stuff.
And he did come back, and he came back. So that game is just like that's a true masterpiece.
And you know what? One of my favourite characters in that game was totally underrated, Vincent. I loved Vincent.
The
If
vampire.
you've got a guy who can turn, he's a vampire who can turn into demons.
Yes.
And
So this is the kind of vampire you like, eh?
yes, if Twilight was based around Vincent.
Vincent is awesome.
Yeah,
like,
he
is
got his
sick.
spin-off game, which wasn't overly great, but
he was amazing.
But you didn't get him till late in the game, and his limit breaks were
turned
into different demons, and it was.
And then this big one, the Diablos, which is basically the devil. It was like,
and even his story, like he was one of the secondary characters, like Yuffie as well. But they still put the effort into giving them story.
You didn't have to get them. That's
you didn't have to get them.
But getting them was made it so rewarding because it was because they were just literally these two amazing characters, and obviously they had Kate Sith, which is a character that existed that was just whatever. Who cares about that one? Yeah, that was a cat with a megaphone that controlled a giant robot. So
Naturally. Why not?
But with Yuffie and with Vincent, you're right. It's you didn't have to get them to progress the story, but if you did,
He made it worthwhile.
It
I just
was
want the
so
guy with the
good.
megaphone. That's all I want.
Yeah.
I think with Yuffie it was you have to go into a certain area and
And she
fight.
stole-
a
yeah,
certain
and she stole your
battle.
materia, and
She
then, like-
steals all your materia, then you've got to
Chase
fight
her.
with your weapons and get it all back. And it was just a little thing, but as the time goes on, and with Vincent you have to go back to the town where this all happened and unlock a room, and it was just man, like I just want to go home and play it. Seriously, I love that game so much.
Yeah, so in terms of that, that to me, it's not a terrible E3 when you show gameplay of one of the greatest games of all time and then basically rebooting it. But one thing that also, because Jamie's rolling his eyes because he's bored of doing play Final Fantasy.
I'm not.
His life.
I'm actually keen to go back and play it now.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
there was another gameplay sequence for Star Wars Fallen Order.
There was?
Where they actually showed gameplay, and I was like going,
Oh, yeah.
"Oh, I'm a Jedi." Yeah, no, please, where do I swipe my card of money
Yeah.
into the
Yeah.
machine?
And God,
Here is the blank check.
Yeah, how do I get the money? Like,
Your character actually, I was looking with the gameplay trailer, and you were saying it's Cameron Monaghan from the Joker from God. It looks like him.
It is,
too.
it
They've
is,
done
it's
the proper
him.
motion. It's not let's get someone else to do the motion.
And,
it's him.
with a
It's
mission
him.
called Save the Wookiee.
Definitely.
and the really funny thing, that I laugh at. Well, the first of the thing they showed the first trailer where he jumped to the plane. There was the African American guy there who was like sort of helping him. Everyone's like going, oh, like the internet was like going, oh, how dare they make her a less important character? It's like, you mean the Jedi that will train this Padawan in the Jedi Arts?
Yeah.
And now they've actually released a comic which then how she was like so she's a survivor of Order 66 Jedi that now can train him. Oh yeah, no, not an important character at all. Not at all.
That's
Not at
another
all
one.
important.
That was another highlight for me.
It's like,
E3, that
you know,
was
if you see
amazing.
trailers, don't comment on them because you could be proven very wrong, which is. But like, it just felt like a Jedi game. I was like going, yeah.
Yeah, it looked great.
It's very gamey. It had very sort of gamey moments where basically like he does the Kylo Ren stop the blast thing, which but again, but the craziest thing I saw was in a sequence where like he stops the bullet, picks up a stormtrooper and throws it against the stop bullet, and like the laser blast, and he hit that blast and died. I was like going, I like this. I was like, man, that's incredible. I want this game, and it's coming out this year. So
What is it? Take my money, take it now.
Yes.
That I was happy. And
here's the thing that's very important. This game actually has to sell well because this is if we need to show EA that we want single player Star Wars stories
with no loot boxes.
with no loot boxes, no microtransactions. So buying this game is EA is basically we have to show EA that this.
Let's
is
show
what,
them now's our
this
time.
is what we want. Like this is putting the money where it matters.
Pay the $70, buy it. Show them that we want to pay $70 and that's it, and we can have a fantastic game. They will keep doing it.
Yeah,
Fingers
exactly.
crossed.
Exactly. So that was, to me that was the best moment of E3. My saddest moment was finding out in Fire Emblem Three Houses you can't have children characters. So what's the point of him playing that game now?
What's the point of life?
What's the point of life? But anyway, what do you guys think? Is there any sort of games that were sort of announced, trailers that sort of captured your imagination?
Oh, there's only one game that's captured my imagination. Well, there is actually
Was it
two.
breathtaking?
Was it breathtaking?
It was actually. I think we all know what game that is. Cyberpunk 2077.
Yes, Vampire
That game,
Masquerade.
I-
Actually, no, that's also another cool game. I'm not talking about that.
But with Keanu being there himself just to promote it as well.
Yes, yes, but
It looks good.
Yeah. I mean, what do you say? It looks amazing. So
Yeah, look, it's going to be one of those games. It's look. The last game that studio did was Witcher 3, which is again still one of my favorite games ever. And it's the game I played the most this generation in terms of being like immersed into it in like basically that world. Like, so this studio knows how to make good games. I trust them on this game. I'm like, it's going to be good. It's going to be amazing.
it looks like it's going to be very complex too. Like you've got multiple ways to complete a mission.
But that was the same with The Witcher. Apart from the quest is basically like kill the monster.
Yeah.
The other quests were very complex. Like the whole entire thing with Chimera was like the whole the rebellion piece. Like there's a whole piece where you can just ignore it. Where basically like you can either
I heard.
you can save the country of Temeria. but then let the Black Legion sort of take over the world, or you support the other. I can't remember the other town. You support the other town. Then he sort of makes it, and because he has enough army to support that. But then his whole thing was, Temeria has to die, then it's going to become part of my kingdom, and you have to make a very tough decision, which was how to stop the Nilfgaard army was basically sacrificing this entire region, and that sort of those sort of moments this company makes in terms of their gaming things, and so it's like
there's choices.
It's choices, and like unlike sort of the quote unquote Bioware choices, where it's like going, oh, I said that to one character, and like, cool, I got the 2 options, and then like the choices in which really did matter because they literally altered how the world was.
Also, apparently, you could completely avoid whole storylines.
Oh yeah,
full-on sprawling storylines with dozens of hours of questing. Just in one decision, and you could just go, oh, and then lose a whole heap of the game.
Save the town or save the children.
And then part of which is like, if you don't kill this one specific tree, you give a very bad ending. I'm like going, what? What?
The tree's so nice.
But that's how they make games, and I love that because essentially, and so I'm really, obviously, as Mike says, everyone's excited about Cyberpunk, and if Sony decides to put their stupid censorship on it, I will be buying it on Xbox, and I'll buy an Xbox for it because I will not play this game. I will not play this game with content taken out because if Sony decided to go all PC on me, as they've done with a few other games. I will literally buy another console and play it there. That's just my
And I must say, speaking of The Witcher, when I'm out and about doing Uber and stuff and meeting people who like gaming, I guarantee 95% of the people say, they ask me what I'm playing at the moment, and I say, what are you playing? Oh, just finished my 4th playthrough of The Witcher 3.
Yeah,
and it's just,
it's one of those things where, because essentially, like, it's what people want.
Yeah.
And it's what gaming people do. Gaming studios go, people don't want a game where they're a solo walking around king of a legendary swordsman. They want this. No, they want Witcher, where you're a mythical you're a badass walking around in a fantasy universe, and you're the legendary swordsman. Like, that's what we want. That's make more of that. But
that's my one failing. I must say, I have never played it. I want to, but I have never played it. But I've heard nothing but good things. So I know.
You have failed this podcast.
But I agree with everything that all the games that were mentioned. The only one that I'm excited about as well is Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, the Black Order, which looks amazing. I'm a massive fan of the other two.
You get to any time where they have a game where I could literally team up like some of the X-Men that were shown off, that basically they have all the proper X-Men in there, which is awesome. They haven't shown off Archangel, but I'm hopeful. But they've shown off they have all of them there, and then they have a really cool and just basically be able to play with the X-Men.
Yep.
Playing as the X-Men again. Beast, they have Colossus. I
Cyclops?
I remember.
I remember. Blast concussive.
They are concussive.
My team for Marvel Ultimate Alliance were always Wolverine, Cyclops, a Colossus, and then maybe Captain America or Thor thrown in.
I probably will have Captain America as the leader because I have to, because that's good. Like when he's in the game, it's contractually. It's contractually obligated to have Captain America.
I think that's when you agree to the terms and conditions of playing that game.
I'll have him. I'll probably have. I'll have mostly X-Men.
You probably need a flyer too.
But I'll have do I call him Deadpool though? Because
I remember those games. You always used to have Thor in it just because he was a flyer to get to know. I'm another one of those. I want every little piece. I will 100% complete every little bit to get the figurines to unlock the characters and all that. But
that's me.
Completion. That's what I'm doing with Arkham Asylum at the moment. Playing it through.
The question is, Jamie, you like these types of games?
Jamie will play a game for 468 years.
I'll play it, but I'm not like, oh my gosh.
Interesting.
You won't go out and buy a Switch to play.
Look, there's two things I don't like. I don't really like first-person shooters.
Okay.
So it'll take a lot for me to get into it.
Well, this is not a first-person shooter.
No, it's a team.
The other one is the angle down when you're
almost looking.
Yeah, the isometric.
I don't like that.
Really?
I really don't like
That's
that.
odd.
It bugs me.
The thing that annoys me about it,
I love those games. I play nothing but those games.
Yeah, Chris is literally playing a game like
I'm a little bit annoyed.
Yeah, I play nothing but Diablo. Oh my god, Diablo.
What's that game you're playing right now, Chris?
Chaos Bane. And
Chaos
it's basically
Bane, I've
Diablo
heard that.
3, but with Warhammer characters, and it's amazing.
Yes,
Like
yes.
side scroller open world. That's me.
I'm just a little bit annoyed that, and I get why it is that it's just on the Switch only, because
They were willing to support and fund it.
yeah,
so that's,
exactly,
you know.
and that's why I get why it is.
Yep.
But
Someone's saving up
look,
for a
it
Switch.
probably will it'll be the game that makes me go out and buy a Switch.
Oh, look,
Fire Emblem.
I'm happy to I have a Switch. I can go play this game, but
I'll just be really nice to my wife for a couple of months, and hopefully it will
she'll let you
it
get
will
one.
pay
sure.
off.
Another cool thing. Well, it was an announcement, but it's long overdue. Is basically they're going back into the D&D universe with Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, I did not know this.
I sent you
I
the
did
link.
not know
Okay,
this.
Michael
Did
just
you?
obviously had a mini orgasm.
I don't think there was nothing mini about that.
Okay, we are talking about Baldur's Gate.
Well, tell me because I
This is
don't
like
know what it
a
is.
classic. Well, you might not like it. 'cause
Do you
it's
like
top-down.
D&D?
I sort of occasionally.
But Chris, it's also top down.
It is top down. It is isometric.
It is the heart and the soul of Dungeons and Dragons video game.
Well, no, it is.
It's Baldur's Gate,
it's in
man.
The, it's
It's
in the
Baldur's
D. Yeah,
Gate.
it's D&D, but you know.
I was obsessed with that game.
But I did hear
they're
that,
doing
yeah.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, and the thing that everyone makes me excited about is the studio that did it did the Divinity series. Divinity Original
I played,
Sin.
yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
So they've again another sprawling open world isometric RPG kind of thing.
They have that. The Divinity series has some good ideas.
And also,
They have some good
it was also
gameplay.
super brutal and hard.
It was very super brutal and hard.
But so I hope that obviously that's for them. But you know, Baldur's Gate's more of an open.
Hopefully
world feel,
they'll go
yeah.
more traditional route and make it more accessible.
Yeah, and I think they will. But the point is, Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's
They
Gate
also
3.
announced their.
That's made my night.
The other announcement I thought that doesn't matter to us in Australia was obviously Google's new gaming console online. Stadia.
Streamline or whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
basically, if you play for a game for 60, if you play 60 hours in a video game, apparently it's about 1 terabyte worth of download data it consumes, and it's probably not accessible. Like it'll never be
you
here
have
in
to have
Australia.
unlimited fast internet. It's kind of like Netflix for games, really, but you have to have a good.
It's not Netflix require the streaming technology for Netflix is fine. You can have it.
Yeah.
This seems like it's going to be like old school streaming, which is basically like if you're doing Australia, you're not doing anything else on the internet. It seems to be like just this.
Oh, so it's quite demanding on your internet. Because I've got NBN, I've got unlimited internet, so I was like, well, it doesn't seem that there would be an issue there, but...
I mean, again, we don't know. Like, again, one issue with gaming is latency, and then like what's going to be the anyway.
Because you get like thousands of gamers doing that same thing, using terabytes of...
But the point is, it's like $10 a month, or I'm just going to buy a PS5 and then...
And just not do $10 a month.
But I suppose at $10 a month, it's a good. You can try it out.
No, it's $10 a month just to have the service.
Oh, really?
What about
the games actually cost extra.
So how about
So it's not a Netflix a la carte thing. It's $10 a month for the
ability to use
it, and then you buy the games.
Do you get the controller included in the? No.
So let me pose you a question, right?
Yeah.
So you pay this subscription fee and you also pay for the games.
Yes.
How is that different to having a PS5 and being on PlayStation Plus and getting free games per month? Also playing on.
With this, you're paying the 10. From what I understand, you're paying the $10 a month. You're not getting any free games.
No.
With the PS Plus, you get 2 free games. They might not always be the greatest.
The point is as well. Sometimes I'm like, you know. But my PS4 is not reliant on the internet to play the games I want to play.
No, that's right. Yeah.
And so that's
same as mine. Yeah.
So like again, I could go back right now and play The Witcher, and I'm like, yeah, I got The Witcher.
Also, once your PS Plus, you go and download. Like the other month, they had Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 remastered.
Yeah, I remember.
You download that, and you don't need to be online to play. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So look, I don't know. I'm skeptical.
Yeah, very.
You'd have to have a good stable of games.
And also, it's new.
depends
I mean,
on
I
the
know
games.
it's Google, But
again, here's the thing, and here's why people should be very careful. Google launch products all the time, and then after a year they kill them.
Yeah,
because they don't like if it's not like so. Basically, remember Google Glass?
Yes, I do remember Google Glass.
Yeah,
that shows how long it was out for.
Again, so if Google doesn't launch
they were
something
out for
and
like,
it's
17 seconds.
Yeah,
and then
again, so if Google doesn't think it's successful, they'll just pull it and kill it.
And
so
then all the money you've paid into it.
Yeah.
See you later.
So again, that's why I'm very pessimistic in investing in something Google does.
I'm happy to stick with the PlayStation, Nintendo.
I'll get a PS5 depending on what it looks like, and
Did they confirm also? I know we talked about it before, but I didn't see too much of the Cyberpunk. Is that going to be a launch title?
No, that's a current gen title.
Okay, cool.
I was very surprised to learn that.
Weren't we talking a while ago about
Cyberpunk is actually...
Yeah, look, it's a PS4. It's a PS4 title, but I guarantee
looks incredible.
This is my again pure speculation.
Very noisy.
pure speculation. The things that the original trailer they showed us where they walked through the big crowded city, it's not going to be that crowded in the current version of consoles. But then there'll be it's a PS5 edition. Oh, here's all the crowd.
Yeah.
Again,
has the power.
Pure speculation. But when I watched him walking through the streets with all those people around, I was going, "There's no goddamn way a current console can do this." I'm sorry. I was looking going, that's not happening. That's not how current. That's not how.
That's what I was thinking when I saw those videos. I'm like, no way, not on
because
PS4.
I remember when we did our predictions, we all did agree that we thought it would be a PS5 launch title.
Maybe if you overclocked it and fed liquid nitrogen,
but again,
might be able to do it.
Again, like I said, this year's E3 was a bit annoying for me because obviously Sony decided not to do a press conference because
usually Sony's what you hang out for.
And even like I think the Microsoft said I was a bit sad that Sony wasn't out this year because essentially
Microsoft didn't have their buddy.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't have the competition to push you. They launched and
didn't Nintendo win?
And Nintendo
won by default.
That's a default win anyway.
Nintendo won because no one else was playing. That's why.
But the point is, obviously we know that Sony's probably going to if Sony missed this, it means either they're going to launch something at the end of the year, like a big conference to show off their PS5, which is fine. I don't mind. But it was a bit sad not to see them turn up. And so. They do have the games we know about, which is obviously Last of Us 2 and Death Stranding and Ghost of Tsushima coming up. What they're going to do when those games all launch, we don't know. But
Death Stranding looks really good.
Again,
it looks a bit strange, but
super weird,
but creative.
If you're into that sort of Hideo Kojima craziness, then yes, that's
which is me.
Again, I actually never played Phantom Pain. I'll be honest.
I loved it.
Yeah,
my last Hideo Kojima game was Metal Gear Solid 4.
Oh, yes.
Me too. Sons of Liberty.
Yeah, and once I finished that game, I was like, "Yep, cool, I'm done with Metal Gear."
Just that fist fight at the end, on top of the dreadnought, you're like, whoa.
I don't think I ever played that one.
Yeah, you did.
Did I?
Good.
Yeah, because I remember people receiving
with
one
the cow robots
one Saturday morning where you guys were like, "I'm versing the vampire." And I can't
yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, so what does he keep saying to you? He's powered by nanobots. What do you have in your inventory?" Oh, a nano-killing thing.
Nano-killing MacGuffin grenade.
I was like, just stab him with a nanobot thing, you idiots.
It was literally that simple.
I remember you guys are doing that and struggling at it.
What about the Puppet Master?
And then
you had to like go to a different controller.
Yeah.
To like,
and the Puppet Master, the video one where you shoot the strings of the puppet.
Didn't they do that something in Metal Gear 1? There was when you fought against Ghost
when you first get in Metal Gear 1, you had to change the controller port.
Change the port,
And in Metal Gear 4, there was a dude who had voodoo dolls.
Yep.
And you had to actually shoot the strings and then to get to free yourself and then to shoot the strings of thing. But the funny thing about that game is once you finish the game, there's a new game plus where you get to keep all your weapons and go through it. And so I was walking through the first time with the voodoo dolls, lifting people up and killing them. You just see something. I was like, okay, this kind of kills the fun of the game because I'm literally just killing everything with all the weapons in the universe.
That was such a good game though. Just the bit that stands out for me with that game was just that fist fight. standing on top of the dreadnought at the end, and you.
That's what's so
awesome.
crazy about that sort of game is like there's giant robot battles and like things, and it ends in a good old fashioned fist
Yeah.
fight. like,
And then the stars too was those cow robots were really cool, and Raiden was pretty awesome too. Raiden with his foot swords.
Like an episode of Texas Walker Ranger, they all run around shooting each other, and right at the end they put all the guns down and kung fu.
Now, speaking of
Raiden.
speaking of Kung Fu
Segue,
Raiden.
nice.
I'm going to beat Chris this time. Speaking of Raiden.
So,
Damn it.
A close tie.
let's talk about the topic that we're going to talk about. We actually... we went
our trip to Time Zone.
We went to Time Zone, and there was something that was severely lacking. Well, apart from my amazing skill at skee ball, which won the prize, which obviously was all there. There was
if you guys were there, Chris was like some kind of rabid beast.
Like I thought I was doing all right. Like I was like, holy crap, I'm up to like a thousand.
Chris is like drooling, like.
And then Chris
I
comes
thought you
over.
had 4 arms at one stage.
Yeah, I was like 2000.
What was that thing you were trying to win, Chris? It was a figurine, like
the X-Men figure.
X-Men figure. You were like, I'm gonna get that X-Men figure, like running around, like just swiping cards.
And we won't say you probably spent more money on the time zone thing than the actual figure cost, but with the experience.
It was the experience.
But he won that. I
earned it.
Yes.
The one thing that was missing from that arcade was fighting games.
Yeah.
Yes,
Very
exactly.
No Street Fighter, no
Tekken,
not even Marvel vs. Capcom.
No,
Which if you want to keep
that's
it,
a
if you want to
classic.
keep it as like a kids thing, Marvel vs. Capcom, no Street Fighter, no Mortal
One of the
Kombat, no
best.
Tekken, no King of Fighters.
They had a Walking Dead game there.
But that was
But that
so
wasn't fighting though.
shooting.
No, like for you're saying for kids thing, like you know.
Oh yeah, true.
But I mean,
Because they had adult stuff there.
So one of my
Yeah.
favorite game genres in general is obviously fighting games.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let's talk about the big three in fighting games that already exists. There's obviously Street Fighter,
Yep.
Mortal Kombat.
and Tekken.
And Tekken.
Yeah.
There are some other ancillary fighting games out there. There was Virtual Fighter back in the day.
Dead or Alive with the big bouncy
Dead or
boobies.
Alive, King of Fighters,
Yeah,
and
King of
then
Fighters
I think the other one. Then obviously there was like Bushido, and then there was obviously
What about that one?
Primal Rage.
What about
Primal
that
Rage.
one with Beast Mode, and you could like upgrade?
Wasn't that Primal Rage?
Primal Rage, I think, was
And
it?
you got like Rage.
Yeah, Primal Rage.
Yeah, Rage. That's
That was
why.
I think that was
I literally
Killer
said it,
Instinct.
Killer Instinct, yeah.
I remember Killer Instinct.
Okay, because as you guys might not be aware, but I'm not a massive fan of fighting games.
Yeah.
However, Killer Instinct is one game I was obsessed with.
That was 64, wasn't it? Or was that- yeah.
Fulgore and Saberwolf were my two characters, and I was unbeatable with Fulgore. I knew all of his killer moves. I knew all of his big finishes.
Because the thing that I loved, obviously, was Street Fighter. That was my,
Street Fighter.
Ryu, depending on how you pronounce it. One of my favorite characters. The thing I liked about Street Fighter was it was the most. In my mind, it's still. People say Tekken's more technical in terms of like a fighting game, in terms of like combos and things. But because it is, there's more combos in Tekken than there are in say a Street Fighter game. But the Street Fighter games invented the Hadouken.
Yeah.
Hadouken.
Now,
Hadouken.
when you actually think about that was the most game-changing element in a fighting game ever because of what it actually means. So basically, it was a mid-range to long-range attack, and if you throw one, basically and how they designed it, even if you block it, it still did some damage to you, so you can just sit there back and block forever. But if you threw it, the opponent had to jump over to avoid it.
Yeah.
If they jumped, then you could sort of predict them the next thing. And then obviously with Ryu's
You could use it to control,
with Ryu's basic moves, you throw it at Hadouken. They jump over. You throw the Shoryuken, and then you throw your Hurricane kick after that. And so sort of basically at that point, you basically got them in the stun lock, where you basically got them in an unbeatable lock combo. But if you throw it too early and they predict it, they basically get a free hit against you. And so that was like the chess match in terms of the back and forth chess match. To the point where in the old arcades, and when we were playing the arcades of Street Fighter Alpha, because it was such a common thing, there was a cancel for fireball. Basically, so if you do it and you press a button before you throw it off, he'd get the animation to stop it.
So you could feign.
You could cancel it out, but how you cancel that was you press the start button, which means your hand would go over to the start button, so you could see, so your opponent could see you cancelling it. So what the trick was, you'd throw one. Reach your hand up and not press the button, then reach it back, and then, all these amazing mind games in terms of faking out an opponent and things like that. And like, I love And the one thing I really like, and I really appreciate about Street Fighter is they've kept sort of their classic designs. They haven't sort of like recently Mortal Kombat 11 came out and they've changed all the characters' designs. Well, actually, it's all the female character design. That's a whole other thing. And they've tried to make it more quote unquote realistic. And they've really killed some of the more iconic, their sort of iconic costumes and things. And I was like, look, I understand that, like, you want to make, rather than saying, look, why would this person run around in a bikini? Henceforth, we're going to give this girl like a cool modern costume. But Shao Kahn can stay wearing his underpants and hat. How's it going?
Underpants and hat.
Double standard.
Double standard a little bit, yeah. But that's why I like Street Fighter. It's like Zangief wears underwear and Chun-Li wears something completely inappropriate to fight.
Because he's a wrestler.
I'm going, that's fine. See, look, it's fine. Crazy costumes, but it's when you think about the fighting game genre now. Back in the day, in an arcade, if there was like 12 fighters, you're like going, "Whoa, that's a lot of fighters."
Yeah.
Now, if you've got 12 fighters, you're going, "Where the fuck's your roster?" Like,
when's the DLC coming out?
Yeah, a fighting game roster is now like 30 characters, and if it's not 30, you're like, do you not have characters in your game? Like, what's the way?
I think that's due to Mortal Kombat. Would you say Mortal Kombat was always the one that had dozens? And dozens
I think Ultimate Mortal Kombat.
you guys would know
3,
more about
that's
it.
where it brought out
basically they with Street Fighter, how they initially came to their large roster was obviously just skin swaps, where basically like Ryu, Ken, same character, Sakura, same character as Ken, Sakura's Ken, Dan, same character as Ryu and Ken.
Put a different colour on there.
Evil Ryu, which is basically just more powerful Ryu. Akuma, which is basically Ryu. Then they brought in Ryu's master, was also just Ryu. So basically, there's like 6 or 7 characters all fighting the same style. And to a degree, Mortal Kombat did the same thing with Sub-Zero and Scorpion. They were just power swaps.
Rain,
and then the Ermac, and then they made the robot ones, and they made multiple versions of the robot ones.
Cyrax and Sector.
And then they made one of the who I believe is still one of the most iconic fighting game characters, Katana. Katana. But then they made Jade, and then they made Melina. I was like, it's the same chick, just wearing different colours. But I mean, obviously, Mortal Kombat does play a huge part in the fighting genre. Essentially, that was like, ooh, the violent game. This is the violence game that's going to send the kids off and start killing things.
Fatality. Rip out.
But that was so crazy back then. Like, these fatalities where you just basically like back then. We're really desensitized now because like violence is everywhere.
Yeah.
But back then, it's like, oh my gosh, that dude just ripped the dude's head off.
Or even the level fatalities. When you're in the pit level and you just uppercutted them and they ended up impaled on spikes. The basic stuff. It was like, whoa, dude. You don't see that anymore, and I think that I will still say Street Fighter is my favourite. What I grew up on, Street Fighter 2 Turbo Challenge Super Duper Edition, playing in Time Zone till the cows come home.
So I really like Tekken because of the really
that's the one I played the most.
I like Tekken not because of how crazy the storyline was and how really like there was this giant thing called the Mishima the Zybots, also this huge corporation, and every year he holds the King of Fighters tournaments, and the winner of the tournament gets to run his company. I'm like going, we should do that now. Imagine right now, like, what is it? Imagine like Bob Iger of Disney comes out and goes, "We are holding a fighting tournament to determine who runs Disney."
Nice. So like, was Tekken the game that had? I remember I played. I think it was Tekken, but I remember playing this game where there was this ninja. He was like a swordsman, but he was teleporting. He was like, he'd go and come out and like.
I think that was Yoshimitsu.
I think so. Yeah, it was like a robot sword.
Robot swordsman.
Awesome.
And the best thing about Yoshimitsu was that he had a special move where he'd stab himself and do himself like.
Yes, I used to do that.
Knock off all his life or half of it. But if you then stood behind someone and did it, it took only a little bit of his life and it took tons of health for the other one. So it's about really amazing timing I played Tekken a lot, but because it's really interesting when you watch Tekken. Or you follow like the Jin's family, like the Mishima family, where it's basically like his son. It's actually you watch the game. It's basically like Hiachi threw his son off the cliff. It's Tekken 2. Hiachi's son throws Hiachi off the cliff. Tekken 3. After all that, he throws it again. Basically, the entire thing is basically the Hiachi family throwing, like, where basically the sons of the new son throws basically the father of the cliff and back and forth, and the whole thing was basically just about
through the generations.
Through the generations of like taking over the company and throwing the father off the cliff.
There's just a pile of them. Take a number.
Yeah.
Will 182 a Y come to the front of the cliff? Come on, Dad.
The thing I actually really liked about that game was like. Yeah, Jin was like, Jin Kazama was meant to be, he was different because like, his mother was Jun Kazama, which she was like a good character. Then Ogre kills her, then Jin sort of becomes like unleashes the quote unquote devil gene within inside of himself, and then eventually he becomes like the leader of like the Mishima family, then just becomes his dad and becomes evil and just takes over the world. I was like going, what an interesting character. I was like, okay, cool, yeah. So, as they say, you live long enough to see, like, what's it saying?
You can either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
And that was Tekken. And I love these fighting games because of how ridiculous the storyline is.
And now my brain has just gone to Disney fighting games. Like, it could be Mickey Mouse versus Howard the Duck.
That would be amazing.
That would actually be incredible.
And
imagine a Mickey Mouse fatality.
It could be like Disney versus the Muppets or something.
Yeah.
Like animal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a genre that doesn't get a lot of love, and
not anymore.
No.
But let's. While we're talking about fighting games, there have been 2 movies that have been made from fighting games: Mortal Kombat,
Yes, the best.
and the Street Fighter.
They're both classic movies.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Mr. Van
So I
Damme as
actually watched that the other night on
Nice.
Amazon Prime.
Solid effort. Yep.
How
has
get
it
through
aged,
it? I
Chris?
couldn't do it
Oh no.
because, like, okay, here's the thing: that movie, by comparison, makes the Mortal Kombat movie amazing. And like, that movie's so amazing, it's stuck to the canon of the law.
Yeah.
This was not a Street Fighter thing. They just took Street Fighter like things and named characters. Like, hi, I'm hi, I'm Chung Li Chan. I'm a news reporter. Like, what the hell? No. You're meant to be an Interpol agent, and anyway, it was
my favourite, like the one-liner, and I haven't watched this movie in years, but the one thing I love is Zangief in this movie, where they're in the area and they're watching a video, and M. Bison, played by Raul Julia, who was fantastic in that role, he's giving a speech. This is going to blow up on the TV, and Zangief is like, "Quick, change the channel!" As if that would stop the bomb. That's the one line that sticks with me from the whole movie.
But I do like. That's why I think. That's why I think Mortal Kombat is an easier story to translate into basically movie, which I think James Bond's production company is going to do with that movie. Because it's very simple.
Adelaide of all places.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow. Random.
I mean, obviously Adelaide paid more money.
Let's go to Outworld in Adelaide.
I mean, Adelaide is a shithole, so that sort of works out perfectly. But it's a very simple concept. You want to take over a world, you've got to beat the world's champion.
Yeah, exactly.
Very, very straightforward, very simple.
And you do that in Adelaide.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat.
You want to take over the corner, you need to beat that.
Like, you can drive like half an hour from Adelaide and you're in a desert.
Yeah, that works perfect for Outworld.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, that works. I'm interested to see who they're going to cast.
Adelaide is an Outworld.
I want to know which character they're going to use.
No. I mean, the one thing with Mortal Kombat is it has to be Liu Kang and Kitana. That is an important love triangle that has existed. Not there's no triangle there. It's just 2 people. It's an important.
They're going to have at least Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
Yep.
They're going to have Raiden.
Yeah.
They're going to have Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn.
But then you can't have them. So you can't have them both because one has to lead to the other. But that's all separate.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But you have to have Johnny Cage and Sonya.
Yeah.
Well,
didn't they say, I heard something about they were going to sort of follow the games with it's not actually going to be Sonya, it'll be Sonya's daughter with Jax.
That's a Mortal
It
Kombat
is from the game, yeah.
That's the new game.
I
where
heard
basically,
that James 1, they're sort of taking bits from that game, they're going to go with that.
Yeah, because the new game story, if like in case you're wondering, is basically there was a time war that's now effed up the entire timeline, and so basically in order to fight the timeline, they brought back all the characters who were like. And to them, when they step into the world, they've just won Mortal Kombat 10, and they're like, "Oh, cool." But then, like, hundreds of years have passed, and like, not hundreds of it, years have passed, and then like. Johnny Cage is meeting his like a 50-year-old version of himself, and he's got a daughter who's like now a military commander, and it's actually a really interesting concept.
We're missing a really important thing here, but is Goro going to be back?
Goro.
He has to.
He's awesome because he's
awesome. Is he going to be epically puppeted as?
Hey, that was phenomenal.
I was going to say, like, do not, and I like
all the time.
And I like in the second one that none of the actors wanted to come back.
No. Christopher Lambert, I think, played Raiden in the first one.
Yeah,
the Highlander himself, and then we've gone to this is 10 minutes after we've won the tournament. No, that's not Christopher Lambert. That's not the girl that played Sonya.
But
that's their stunt doubles.
That first movie gave us one of the greatest pieces of music.
Yeah.
The Mortal Kombat.
Shang Tsung standing up on top with the light looking down on Liu Kang.
Your soul is mine.
and then just throw in a bit of dance techno. Who hasn't had that as their ringtone in one time of their life?
I mean, that's what I mean. People, like a lot of the younger generation forgets that fighting games didn't used to be about fighting someone online in like South Korea and getting your ass kicked by some like 10-year-old South Korean who's like, It was about like fighting in the same room with someone, staring at your opponent, going, "I beat you."
Multiplayer.
Yes, that's right. That's exactly right.
Like me and my brother used to actually turn on Tekken, and we used to go, "Okay, 50 battles, best out of 50," and we would just. I used to play Jin, he used to play Hurong, and actually, actually even funny in the Tekken story, there were arch rivals in the Tekken story as well, and we used to play with 50 matches. Best out of 50.
So, and so you decided 50 from the go. It wasn't like best out of 3.
No. It was 50 matches.
And that's the good thing about it. You could have a couple of mates over. What do you want to do? Let's play Mortal Kombat. Let's play Street Fighter. And you don't have to do the story. Let's just have
Yes.
Winner plays on.
Yeah. Do you remember linking up the consoles?
Yeah. Right.
When I was at school, we had like one of my friends was a doctor. Well, he wasn't a doctor. His dad was a doctor, and they had a 3-story house.
Yeah.
And so we'd have sleepovers on the weekend where we'd have a group on every story, and we'd link like cables through the floor and up the stairs.
Yeah, that's real. But that's why I actually been sort of interested in looking into like I didn't realize but there is a huge competitive Street Fighter scene, and people are professionals.
Oh, really?
People are literally, because essentially there's in Street Fighter you can if you're all the best players get sponsorships and shit, and so when the characters are literally sponsorships on their it's insane. But then I was watching one thing on YouTube, people talking about the Street Fighter tournament, and there was one match they had where one guy chose the character he was using, and the guy then picked a character, and everyone freaked out because it was a small character, but then because no one plays it, he didn't really know the combos, he didn't know the other guy didn't know how to play against that character, and so it was a big mind game that everyone's like, "Oh, what the hell? What's going on?"
Plays that character.
Yeah, I was going. See, but the reason why those tournaments are exciting because it's not over the internet; it's two people literally sitting next to each other, looking at each other
the way it should be.
That's the way it should be. That's how tournaments work. So you can eyeball someone and say, "I'm better than you."
Yeah, this is proof that you are better than them.
And again, where I think again one of the most amazing competitive online things was when I sort of experienced this sort of before the West had adopted this whole professional gaming. I remember being in South Korea, I think it was in the year 2000, and I watched the StarCraft League. Ooh. And that was the most insane thing ever because it was literally people cheering at StarCraft. I love StarCraft.
Yeah, StarCraft amazing.
But the crazy thing for me was there was one match where the guy was he's on the stage. He's he plugs. They all bring their own mouses because that's the
of course you bring your mouse
and he's plugged. He plugs it in. He's thinking, you're gonna versus Mr. Charlie, who's the current champion at the time, and blah blah. Blah. And then the stage went dim, and then the lights were there. And then this lights flash across, and there's this dude appeared there, and then the crowd literally lost their mind because apparently they found out later on that person was considered the greatest StarCraft player of all time, and everyone's going. As he walks out, he just pulls out this mouse. And the guy was literally shitting bricks. I was like, why? And then the guy played, and he won in 4 minutes. And I was like, oh, that's why, because that guy's literally considered the greatest StarCraft player of all time. I'm going, what?
That's so amazing.
I know. It was so amazing. And I was
I will say though, those memories of StarCraft, we used to play IM, the old, plug in.
Yeah.
I used to hate when people would play against me with Protoss.
Yeah, I love Protoss.
All of a sudden, I'd be like, yep, cool. I got my base. I got my, I've got my Vespene gas going. I've got my mineral ore.
Yeah.
All that sort of thing. And then all of a sudden, Protoss battle cruisers.
Yeah.
With all the ships.
Yeah.
And those little
How
that
the
was-
hell did you get those ships so fast?
Because there's a trick with Protoss, and that was the thing.
And
There's
like
a trick with
Armada
Protoss
Fleet
where
of
you,
Death.
you basically ignore everything. You put resources into certain things. You can build carriers basically almost immediately, and then you send them in and you decimate everything.
Us poor Terrans, here I'm representing the very best in humanity.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden a dread fleet of Protoss super carriers out of nowhere. And I'm like, yeah, screw you, Stuart.
Here's what I prepared earlier.
Screw you guys.
But again, with that in-room gaming, I remember going to my this guy Chris Bullock's house and Philip Pill's house, and they were all into Age of Empires. And I had just gone to a game called Medieval Total War.
Oh yeah, okay, yep.
And in the Total War series, and that was like, to me, it was revolutionary because in Age of Empires you just built, and in Warcraft you built tons of knights, send against everything and win.
Yeah.
In Total War it's all about like, send your knights against my spears. Bye.
Yeah.
And so you build rows of spears with archers behind them, and you do proper there's a proper battle. So I versed them in it, and I let them all play together, and then I just basically I built rows of spears and I basically set up properly, and I butchered them. Like, and what the hell? Well, I had all knights. I'm like, yeah. Because knights against spears don't exactly
jab jab horses go ouch.
Yeah, and then and that was the greatest thing because because it was a terrible
you could be a major d-bag in medieval.
Yeah.
You'd be like, you know what, I could give you I could give you some supplies, or I could just screw you over and take all your land.
Yeah. Again, it's that in-game
medieval risk.
There's
a game that makes friends.
There's a risk.
There's a game that cultivates friendship.
I've actually played a couple of games of Risk, and I've always been a complete d-bag and just screw my allies over as soon as I get a chance.
So reminder, guys, let's not play Risk with Chris, or we all gang up on him and we have an alliance against Chris's empire.
And
so we will be the Rebel Alliance against Chris.
Well, here's a question, seeing as we're talking gaming. I was thinking about this earlier. Going back deep into our mind, in our memories.
To our mind hole.
What was the game and the console that made you realise this is something that I will be having in my life for the rest of my life? Everyone had sort of had one or two games. And you can't think of the console, that's cool, but go back as far as
what's yours? It always goes back to the very first console you ever had.
It doesn't always.
Actually, for me, it was the earliest memories I have is Sega Master System, Alex the Kid, and Wonder Boy. And even that was the only game my dad would ever play. I come home from school and he's there playing Wonder Boy on my Sega in my bedroom.
You know what? I'm a little bit different. For me, different. Actually, I kind of agree with Chris. After giving it some thought, I think one moment for me where I felt that was actually not in my childhood, because I actually thought, like Jamie, I thought, obviously it would probably come from childhood, but I actually think it was when I had a first generation Xbox and Knights of the Old Republic came out. Now that game, I will never forget. I will never forget finishing work, walking to Games Wizards in Richmond, picking up a copy of that for $99, and then going back to my house, drawing all the curtains, turning on my sound system, getting my snacks and my drinks ready, and then booting up that game for the first time and watching the cutscene on the Ebon Hawk, and just booting that game for me, KOTOR was special, and that moment for me, that was this game is special, and I still have that game on Xbox and also on PC. So
that was a big one. Mine was I've been a role playing game RPGs for many years. I have two. I'm going with what Jamie said. Sega Mega Drive.
Yes, Mega Drive. Very nice.
I would say Phantasy Star 4, which is quite an underrated JPRG. It was turn-based. But the way you looked at it, it wasn't you just running around. It was kind of like you're looking at the wall. You can see the backs of your characters, and you had fighters, you had magicians, you had all of these fighting against the ultimate evil, Dark Force. Yep. And it was a very cinematic game, but it was comic cinematic. So you'd have panels pop up. Panels of very anime pop up in front of you, and it'd give you the text down the bottom. You've got different panels happening.
Oh, nice!
And
I love those 8-bit big cuts.
And then I would have to say Secret of Mana on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
That was my. Those were my two. I was like, this is me for life. I'm a gamer. I'm a role
For
playing
me,
gamer.
one of the big ones actually was an arcade, which was basically the Turtles game in the arcade.
Yeah.
When like, the sewer popped open, it was like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant, and you had like the buttons, you pick the turtles you want to do. And that was one of the first like. Which my brother
It's a power.
With my brother in the arcade, we played Turtles like a lot.
Yeah.
But for me, again. One of the games that sort of cemented my gaming history was obviously Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah,
where,
that's
let me point out something. Like I had like that wasn't my first console. My first console was a Commodore 64, and I finished the last Ninja. Awesome!
Nice.
Yeah,
Yes, that's
I'm
legit.
old school. Anyway,
That's legit.
anyway, but it was Final Fantasy, and I didn't actually ever own Final Fantasy. I finished it by renting it.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell the viewers this story, Chris.
No,
I think I've heard this story before.
We did way back when, episode 4.
Yeah.
Really?
So basically, I would literally rent it every single week, and basically
That's amazing.
over 4 discs.
That
Finish the
is
game by renting it.
Yeah.
to the point where I would give my pocket money to my parents, say, "Oh, can you go down and get me?" I'd walk into the game store, the video store, and be like, "Hi, my son wants he wants this game." Here
So
you go.
you actually paid more than what the game was worth.
way more.
That is incredible. That is an
But
achievement.
again,
you should get an achievement for that.
Just like how he won the thing at timezone. Yeah, sure, he's probably spent more money.
Yep.
Just trying to
Yeah,
finish it. It's
but
about
it's
the
the
experience.
fact
It's
that-
about he had to wait.
But
he had to wait.
But the point, the point is
That's
though,
legit.
that's the only game I've actually played for about 30 odd hours straight, and I'm not even like not those straight, like not even like there's no sleep breaks there. It was like literally just like a period of like a long period of time
Overnight.
and then like to the point where my parents like maybe like save it, go outside and have lunch with them outside in like a park.
We're going down the road.
Just and I went back and just kept on playing it.
And mind you, Chris lived on acreage.
Yeah.
But then it took me like the Richmond Park and maybe like sit there with them and like have a lot.
And
like,
all the while you're thinking, okay, no.
I was like going, oh man,
You're like, ambient music.
I was like going, I've got like 3 materials that I want to master today. And then
He's just looking out at lunch going, the graphics out here are so much better, but just the storyline's absolute rubbish.
But yeah, so that was my cementing in gaming, and
I agree. It's an amazing.
yeah, so that's why I hate Square Enix. So I'll buy their new Final Fantasy over the 10 games that release of it. Screw you guys. But
On that note, what was the first games you played that you really just clocked? I know yours was what you just said.
That was the first game
Clocked most hours on like straight away. Like the one that where you were just like obsessed with Final Fantasy.
No, actually, it wasn't. It was Breath of Fire 2
Oh, Breath of Fire.
on the Super Nintendo.
Breath of
2
Fire.
because I remember the same
Breath of
thing. I
Fire.
hired it from Video Easy.
love Breath
My
of Fire.
sister worked there at the time, so connection. She always made sure that I had it. But I agree, that was a weekend game for me. That was I would
You got the
start
stuff?
Saturday morning. I'd hire it Friday night. I wouldn't play it Friday night. I'd torture myself and go to bed early. I'd get up early, which is probably why I do that now still, even though I'm 37. I'd wake up early on Saturday morning and I would play it all the way through, stop for dinner, go back and play it all the way through, stay up till about midnight, get up again 6 a.m. in the morning, play it all the way through again. That was my first one.
So this is the games that we've
like the first time that you clocked it, like you were
lot of hours.
Yours was probably not the Old Republic, where you like
So the
so
first
obsessed
game
with
that you bought that you actually, it made you stay up and you made it.
They played like tons of hours on,
like
You know what? I think it would have to be Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, it has to.
I remember
Sounds
because
right.
at the same time I was when that game came out, I was doing a youth church conference thing, and I remember we were there like in the band and stuff, and we're all talking about it, going, oh, so if you go here, you can actually get those special grenades. We're like talking about it, like, oh, that was
What about you, Jamie? What was the one you played the longest
it probably had to be the first Splinter Cell.
Really?
Because I just kept going through it, because you could do it every different way, and I tried to get through levels without knocking anyone out, or without killing anyone, kind of thing. And it got to the point where on this mission where you get right into this, like there's a guy standing in front of a computer panel, and you got to get to the computer panel, and I'm like, doing things like out in the hallway, going knock, 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 or whistle or whatever. And just like, just move, buddy, just move. And I had to, I couldn't get past the level without knocking him out and going on the computer.
Oh,
That
actually,
was- yeah. And Fable as well, I think.
Can I actually change my answer? I've sort of got two of them now. That
you got two. I have two.
So you mentioned Fable. Now I played the first Fable, and I was so addicted to that game.
Me too.
I literally, and I kid you not, this is no word of a lie. I literally lost track of what time was.
Yeah.
I was playing
So good.
and then I literally had to stop and go, like, I literally had to find out what day it was and what the time was. I had no idea. I was like, but another game was probably Elder Scrolls Oblivion, Elder Scrolls 4 on 360.
Yes.
Not everyone's favourite,
No.
but I clocked over 240 hours in that game.
Yeah.
My
gameplay thing
My
was
only
241.
problem with Oblivion
Yeah, not a lot of people either love it or hate it.
was like at the ending was you watching an epic battle.
Yes,
And, like,
I want to be in there.
Yeah, it's like you watch a guy turn into a dragon and fight a demon, and you're like
Why
going,
can't I just...
"Wow, cool."
And you're like,
Yeah, you're kind of just standing there going,
Yeah.
cool, what do I do now?
Yeah, but then obviously they made up with Skyrim, which is obviously
where 10 people storm the city. Are you ready for war?
Yeah. But to be fair, Chris, with your experience with Skyrim, you were massively overpowered for the story. You were like, well, by the time you got to the last mission, it was all bum, 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 and dead.
You described me this epic battle with this amazing dragon. It took me like 3 hits and he was dead. I was like, well, that was...
Yeah, but that's because you went off and like completed the universe, and then like come back, you're like level 80, and then like Alduin's coming at you, and you're like, done for it. Bad dragon. Bad world ender.
I'd call it down to the thing and like then because my character was a two-headed swordsman and I had the ultimate I had like the wind speeds which I put at like multiple and so it was like and then just, like bang, bang, bang. Oh no, it's dead.
Bad world ender.
Bad all the wind. Naughty dragon.
Bad dragon who breaks the world.
Whenever I play like an RPG, I always do everything and
me too.
as much as I possibly can.
It takes a
and then
special
get to the
game
next
for you.
one, and
Yep.
then, you know,
Same.
and then,
I did that for Spider-Man. I did that for Arkham City.
So you two will play a game for like 468,000 years,
Yeah.
whereas me and Chris are like, ooh, shiny red ball.
Yeah, I do the same. I'm currently playing Arkham Asylum, the remastered version on PS4, and I'm literally finding every Riddler thing I can do in the game before I move on to the next section.
yeah, but at the same time, I have to love the game to do that.
Yeah, you don't like the game.
I played Days Gone for 5 minutes. Let's be honest.
Oh, that was a shame,
2 hours,
that
3
game.
hours, and I was just like,
That was a shame, that game. I was so bummed that was what
it's
it was.
such a good concept. It was such a cool idea, but it was just like,
You were kind of like our guinea pig. It was like you were telling me, nah, I'm not going to get it.
Not every game is going to be Spider-Man. Not every game is going to be God of War 4. Like, not every game's going to be... Not everyone's going to game...
God of
Red Dead.
War.
Where you walk around going, boy.
Chris is so weird going back watching Stargate and going, that's the guy that goes,
But see, that line, you just can't help but emulate it. Like, every time you think, yes, now we're all going, boy, for the next 20 minutes. Like, as a man,
Try using that in the bedroom.
as a guy, well, maybe it's
Boy.
and now we're all saying boy.
Boy.
Like, it is irresistible. You could go into a bar of gamers and go, boy. And everyone
get
would
the
go,
reference.
boy.
Yeah. I'd do it playing the game. He'd be like, boy. Well, get over here, boy. And I'd be like, boy. Get over here, boy. A little bit more creepily, to be honest.
I mean, the crazy... I mean...
Takes,
The thing about that was obviously like that at the time there was actually a documentary like
Raising Kratos.
where like he was a father at the time, and so that's where you get a lot of the influence of like how he was thinking about becoming a father, being a father. And one thing that really stood out to me is like it's when he panics or worries about his son, he actually calls him Atreus.
Yeah, exactly.
But other than that, it's like Atreus. It's like but then that boy, come here. It's an amazing. Back to God of War, but seriously,
Amazing.
what like and the crazy thing about that game is the Valkyries are going, oh yeah, you think you're tough, or you think you beat the main story, now go fight basically go fight a Valkyrie.
I do remember that.
That was one of the side quests where I was like, I might have to say no to this one.
They were so freaking insane.
Yeah, I know that you mentioned that. Like the other
I'm a
time.
perfectionist, so I'm like,
Yeah.
what, 2 hours trying to kill one Valkyrie?
I know.
Yeah,
I got to the point where I killed probably 3 of them, and then I went, nah, I'm done.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, like to say I demand them to make another one is a vast
I think they
understatement.
are.
They are.
I mean, you'd have to. At
Well,
this
they're
point.
going. Apparently,
But
the next
where
one will
do
be
you go?
introducing the Thor and the Odin stuff and all that.
Oh yes.
Oh,
But really, when you think about it, you really only fought Baldur.
Yeah, you fought Baldur. You fought one god.
Yeah.
I want to kill them all.
Which is good.
Yeah.
They didn't
That's the whole point
they
of
didn't
Kratos.
oversaturate like God of War 3, and that's not a bad thing for that because that was the end of that story.
Yeah, but you kill all the gods.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, heal us. I need a light. Then you just cut your head
Yeah,
off.
you just rip your head off. Yeah. Oh, Hermes, I need speed. Let me just cut your legs off. You know.
Yeah.
But no, that's the plan. Apparently, you're gonna have more Thor and Odin and other gods. So, yeah. I think we're probably running well over at the moment.
Yes and no. Why don't we wrap up with just saying what was our favourite thing about Time Zone?
I think for me it was the first thing. It was playing Turtles. All 4 of us getting in there.
Pretty special.
Just I haven't done that for a very long time.
Yeah.
To get in there in an arcade with a game that we all 4 of us could play at the one time. I would have to say that was my
One at a time, all dying.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then
that
Chris
was
was
my
all-
favourite.
You left me all alone in that battle.
But you and Leonardo, it happens all the time.
Happens all the time. Yeah.
I mean, it was great, but that was my favourite.
The funny thing I watched about that game was I watched an episode of How I Met Your Mother where Marshall referred to himself as Big Fudge, the skeet ball champion.
Yeah.
And that's how he impressed the girl. And I'd never played that game before. And then when I played the game, I was like, oh, I should do what Marshall was doing. And then it was like, it worked. And I got really good. I got really good at the game because of How I Met Your Mother. I was like, skeet ball. Jamie?
Well, I did enjoy throwing balls at clowns.
Yeah,
That
you
was
did.
pretty fun.
Yeah.
I didn't beat my record though. I think I got to 480 or something, 450, 480.
Yep.
That was fun, but the overkill of the Jurassic Park game.
Oh yeah.
Way back when I played Jurassic Park, and it was just like Time Crisis, like one gun, boom, boom, boom. This one was like Gatling gun.
Yeah.
They're like, quick, we need to catch this Triceratops. But first, let's kill 1,000 dinosaurs before we catch the Triceratops.
Yeah, they obviously we breed them like chickens. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Oh, overkill.
But yeah,
I quite enjoyed that.
Michael?
I think my favourite thing was just watching Chris foaming at the mouth while he was just obsessed with getting 2,500 tickets. That was just hilarious. Like, Chris just disappeared for hours. Just
I went bowling.
Because Jamie was like, ooh, I got 400 tickets. And he's like, ooh, I got 1,000 tickets. I came back, I got 2,000 tickets.
No. See, okay, so let me paint you a picture, ladies and gentlemen. So we would be there, like we're just discussing things. I remember, like we were all like we were standing around, sort of talking about what to go to next. And Jamie's like, "Oh, look at that! I got 400 tickets." And yeah. All of a sudden, Chris runs up panting. I've got 2,000 tickets, and then just disappears again. It's like, what was that? Chris was like on a ticket rampage. It was hilarious.
800, 900 tickets when he came up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, there you go. But it was still pretty hilarious.
I came second in the ticket.
I had 146 tickets at the end because I kept playing games that didn't give me tickets. But I had fun.
Again,
It's about fun.
It's about fun. And look, I actually did enjoy ski balls. It was a lot of fun. But essentially, I was insane.
On my first attempt at skee ball, I got my first 2 shots were in the 10,000.
Nice. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, and then every time it just went downhill.
But you have to put just enough.
Yeah.
And
Don't get cocky.
Don't get cocky.
Yeah.
Don't get cocky,
I
kid.
got annoyed once because there was those 2 kids playing it, and then I need more tickets.
Like-
And they were just mucking around. I was like, come on, I need a win ticket.
Or you're like picking them up. This game's funner.
No, their parents were with them. I was going to pick them up.
So you pick the parents up and went,
Try this game, kids. It's poker. You'll enjoy it.
No, it was definitely a good day out.
It really was, yeah. Although, again, I do agree in that it would have been nice to see a few more traditional arcade
Fighting games, or,
rather than
I feel like
button
doing
mashes.
the
I would
Scout
love
now.
the old and Time Crisis. You can't have an arcade without Time Crisis.
Oh,
I was obsessed with Time Crisis. You remember as a kid, you go to Time Zone and to the arcades, and you would we used to have this thing in Port every Saturday.
It wasn't,
every Saturday morning.
Time Crisis for me. It was Virtual Cop.
Yeah,
Oh,
Virtual
Virtual
Cop.
Cop, yes.
Yes.
But like what you would
Sega's
do,
version of Time Crisis.
but
yeah.
like what you would do is Saturday
that.
mornings. Saturday mornings we had this thing called Happy Hour, where for $10,
Yeah.
you got unlimited games
Yep,
for 3
I went-
hours.
I went there
so
too,
we would
yeah.
go pocket money. I would give them all of my pocket money, my $10 pocket money, and play video games for 3 hours
Yep.
straight. We would live. We had our snacks. We would live at the Time Crisis booth, and just like trying to get past the escalator and just like
The only
so
arcade
awesome.
game I've ever finished was Lost World of Jurassic Park. Like my dad had to take my sister to the dentist or somewhere, and like he left me with $45.
Oh, 45
Nice.
bucks. That's like
And I'm just
huge.
like
a king's
Jurassic Park,
ransom. in
and I
arcade
finished
games.
it, and I was just like, yes.
Well, did it cost you all $45?
Yeah. I spent. I think I had $5 left over. Like I'm finishing, and then when your money's getting lower and lower, you're like, I have to do this.
Yes,
I
I'm
have
so
to do
close.
this.
How about you, Chris? What was your favourite?
Well, look, I set a goal to win a Mora from the Legends figures, and I achieved my goal. But then, as I was walking and picking up things, I saw other statues there that were better, for higher value of tickets.
15,000 tickets.
And I was like going,
I must go back.
this is only the first boss.
Yes! This is the demo game.
This is okay.
This is the primer.
Let's get cracking. So now I have to go back there, but then I have to figure out the best mathematical equation for Skee-Ball to get the most tickets per thing.
You need to become
And then
Big
write a book about
Fudge.
it.
I need to become Big Fudge and Big
Immerse
Fudge in
yourself.
the hole.
Actually, if you do get
And then
a
you
high
will be
score-
that man. You will be that man that walks onto the stage and goes, "Who's that?" And then you pull out your
yeah,
prices
you do it.
card
Yeah,
or
the Time
whatever,
Crisis card, yeah.
and they're like, "Ah!" And there'll be one man there that doesn't know
He
who
has
you
the
are.
gold
and,
card.
And one man, will be there, and you go, "Who's that?"
And then,
I
like-
don't know, and then go, and you beat this thing in like 5 minutes, and people are like, "Oh, that's Chris Warner."
And then they're like, and then one goes, "Oh, he's got the gold card." And then another turns, "Some say that Time Zone made that card especially for
But yeah, good times.
On
Good
that
times.
note,
On that note.
you." On that
This
bombshell,
is the Nerd Migos signing out.
ciao.
peace.